Good morning, Vault 76. This is the Overseer. I hope you all enjoyed the party last night, even those who may have overindulged and overslept. But it's time to get up and get out there. We've been locked away long enough.
Hello, Luke here with Andy.
Hi.
From Outside Xbox. We finally have got a good look at Fallout 76, the newest Fallout game.
Sure have.
And it is, in fact, as rumoured, an entirely online survival-based game, not the single-player experience that Fallout games have traditionally been. Now, Andy is a huge Fallout fan, aren't you, Andy?
Sure am.
And you love single-player Fallout.
I do,
And that's what you wanted, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, ideally. Just another Fallout.
That's right, but I'm going to try and convince Andy here that there are maybe some reasons why you don't need single-player Fallout, and why Fallout 76 will be just fine.
The home of tomorrow may undergo certain challenges.
The first thing I would put to you, Andy, is that Bethesda, which is the company that makes Fallout, can do online.
Yeah.
Just look, for instance, at the Elder Scrolls Online, which is the spin-off to the Elder Scrolls series, which is like Skyrim and stuff like that. Elder Scrolls Online is a good and successful and thriving MMORPG, and it works, and the systems in that game work and people enjoy it. So why could Fallout not work as well?
No, that's true. I mean, it's a good example of a Bethesda game working in a online-only environment. I will take that on board. It's just, it feels like Fallout is less suited to that than the Elder Scrolls. I'm not entirely sure why I feel like that, why I feel so fiercely protective of Fallout as a single-player franchise.
I think there might be something in that, though, because the Elder Scrolls is a high fantasy setting where you have different regions and races and all this kind of like Lord of the Ringsy sort of stuff. Fallout is very much more about like a handful of survivors.
Fallout is more about, individualism and survival. I don't know. And it feels less like the sort of game where people are going to want to team up together and more like the sort of game where people are going to want to kill each other to survive.
In a griefy and unpleasant and unfun way.
Yes.
Now, something I want to highlight is that Bethesda is at pains to point out that this isn't going to be like other online survival games you've necessarily played. They describe it...
like previous survival modes in Fallout games, such as hardcore mode in Fallout New Vegas.
Sure.
Which was a nightmare.
Oh, dear. Well, but look, they describe this as SOFTCORE, their phrase, survival. Now, what that means is that if you die, death isn't going to hinder progression, so it's not going to be in something like... Ark, for example, Survival Evolved, which is an online survival game where dying is really bad and it's a real pain in the butt and it can set you back
You lose
massively.
all your progression. And
That's right, that's right. This seems like it's going to be something where, you can die or you can experiment, you can fall off a cliff, and it's not going to ruin your whole game.
And I think that's the way to go with this, because I don't know if you'd ever tried hardcore mode in Fallout New Vegas, but it was deeply unfun.
Right.
It was a challenge, and a lot of people take great pride in playing hardcore mode in Fallout New Vegas. It wasn't really for me. It was just so you had to attend to every single need, like sleep and water and your ammunition weights stuff, which it doesn't in the main game. It sort of took a lot of the fun out of it, whereas I think they've learned from that and they're presenting a version of that which is still fun to play, which I'm all for.
Hopefully, softcore survival mode will translate into something that is not quite so unfun.
Punishing.
Punishing, not so punishing.
Yeah.
Begin by inquiring with the locals. Gently coax them into cooperation. Use a little elbow grease if you have to.
Now, the most famous games Bethesda makes, maybe Fallout and the Elder Scrolls series, they're RPGs. And what does the RP stand for? Role-playing, which means you get invested in your character.
Right.
Now, when you start a Fallout game, or when you start Skyrim, for example, you spend ages, don't you, Andy, creating your character?
I certainly do.
You certainly do. Of course you do. Of course you. Isn't it a shame to spend all that time and then for only you to see it?
Well, no, because I make videos on YouTube and everyone gets to see it.
Okay, well, but can you put yourself in the mindset of a person who doesn't make videos on YouTube?
Absolutely not.
Not everyone gets to make a Commander Shepard like your weird one with that creepy moustache.
Actually, it's an interesting thread between both my Commander Shepard and my character in Fallout 4 that they both had creepy moustaches.
But look, that means that when you start Fallout 76, you'll be able to make a character with a creepy moustache that everyone can be creeped out by.
That is true.
And not just subscribers to the YouTube channel.
I tell you what, I did enjoy the fact that they have the customizable power armor, which was something you could do in Fallout 4, but that's definitely something that you're going to want to show off when you've like done it up like a 1950s hot rod and you're running around owning people in your power armor. That's definitely cool. I guess if you find like some really cool like rare loot, or I always went around in the Silver Shroud armor in Fallout 4.
Okay.
And, I had my little mustache and my fedora and my, like, trench coat and stuff. And, I cut a pretty good dash across the wasteland.
I'm sure you did.
It was a shame to waste that on just
yourself.
Just ghouls and NPCs.
Just ghouls and rad scorpions.
After a crisis, work with your neighbors to ensure success. There's no I in nuclear wasteland.
I think that the group activities that Bethesda has shown off so far actually look really fun. The most obvious one is the raids, where you and some friends go and fight a massive, huge monster.
Yep, from West Virginian folklore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We saw a giant irradiated sloth. Who doesn't want to take down that with their pals?
That's true. There was a golem. Did you see that? Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Confirmed for Gollum. I think that the actual raiding looks pretty fun. Fallout generally hasn't been it's not a game like Destiny, for example, that's kind of built for shooting and built for multiplayer firing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the fact that you've got multiple players in it means that you can't use the VATS targeting system anymore, which is
because it slows down time.
Yes, exactly,
right.
And that wouldn't work if you're playing with more than one person at the same time. So that's going to be interesting to see how much that affects it, because I use VATS all the time when I play.
It's one of the coolest things.
Yeah, so not having that is a blow, but you're like losing one, but you're sort of getting the cooperative aspect on the other side. So I don't know if it's going to make up for VATS though, because VATS is so cool.
But some of the side activities look nice as well. It's not just about taking down giant mutant monsters. Bethesda sort of hinted that you'll be able to do more irreverent stuff, like play in a little band with your friends.
That's cool.
That looks fun,
yeah,
right?
I'd like that.
Yeah.
Play some John Denver.
Yeah. Take
Country Roads. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Country Roads. There we go. See? Everyone's having a good time.
Having a good time. Fallout 76.
When you emerge from the comfort and safety of your vault, the world you know will have changed. Take your friendly old neighbor Johnny. Rather than coming over to borrow a cup of sugar, he may now be coming over for murder.
There's one entirely new system in this game that I do think is interesting, and that is the NUKing system in Fallout 76.
So I'm going to have to change the color of my Bethesda wristband here to red.
Why?
Because I am not on board with the nuke system.
Okay, so to try and explain it a little bit, it looks like as you go out into the wasteland, you'll be able to find little bits of nuclear codes, and when you collect enough, or when you and your friends have collected enough, you'll be able to set off a nuclear bomb to fire a nuclear weapon.
Attention. Launch sequence activated.
Into somebody else's carefully crafted encampment, or just into the wilderness at random. And then, and I suppose this is the interesting bit, then you go to the irradiated wasteland, and it looks like you do a sort of raid or a special experience there where you can fight a bunch of monsters in the sort of glowing wilderness and get some really cool special loot.
I don't know, I just have visions of spending months and months building Anditropolis.
Yeah.
And, getting everything open, like the bowling alley's open, the dance hall, everyone's going out for tea dances on a Tuesday night.
The band's playing.
And they're like,
everyone's having a good time.
Finally, we've got some semblance of society. And I'm like, what's that on the... Oh my God. You've played GTA Online, Luke, you know how people are.
Yeah, look, this is the thing. People in online games not necessarily kind to you, because there's no punishment to them for being unkind. So
yeah,
I mean, but that's Bethesda's challenge. They have to make it so that you can have fun with this nuke system and maybe occasionally get wound up or occasionally get nuked, but it not ruin the fun and not feel like you're
like
having a bad
if it
time.
doesn't completely destroy your settlement and then you have to redo months of work, then fine.
We'll have to see on that one. I think.
Today is Reclamation Day.
Oh, finally! I feared you'd never wake up. Don't you remember? Time to leave the vault. Most of the others have already gone.
So an online world doesn't mean that you can't have a good story. I would point to online games like World of Warcraft, which is full of lore and guides players through these sorts of fantastical stories bit by bit, as long as you're okay to read the lengthy quest logs and stuff like that. Or, for example, at E3, we've had BioWare talking about Anthem and how they're attempting to merge online with the sort of single-player thrills that you get from being the star of the story.
Although, as I understand it, Fallout 76 isn't going to have any NPCs at all. Like, everyone in the game world is going to be
Everyone's going to be a player.
What Bethesda does well is that kind of emergent storytelling. Like, you remember things like Frostflow Lighthouse from Skyrim, which is like a murder mystery that you go to a location and it's all like environmental storytelling where you're finding diaries and you find sort of things strewn around and you piece together what's happened in your own head. So they are good at that sort of thing. So I could still see it being a satisfying story just told through journal entries and environmental storytelling and things like that. It is going to be weird not having any NPCs who aren't people.
Yes,
but,
save on voice acting.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Got to think of the cashola.
If anyone can do this sort of thing, I think Bethesda's got a pretty good shot at it.
Okay, pretty good shot. I'll take it.
Document your adventures. Your memories will shape the new American dream.
This is the thing that I think is most interesting. So Bethesda is talking about how many other people you're likely to encounter, and it says that in the open game world, you're not going to be with hundreds of people, you're not going to be with thousands of people, you're going to be with dozens of people, which suggests to me that you could play this game for a long time without encountering someone else.
That's true. I mean, they said it's 4 times bigger than Fallout 4, so that's a gigantic game world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it is a case that you really have to seek other people out if you want to play with them. Every so often you will come across someone else, and they will probably be hostile because that's how these things go, but it's not going to happen as often as it does in something like GTA Online.
I think that could make for a very tense game experience if you're sort of wandering through the wilderness and you know other people are out there and they don't necessarily know where you are and you don't know where they are, and when you encounter them you have to make that decision whether you're going to be friendly or hostile. Probably they're going to make the decision for you. I mean,
you've played Sea of Thieves, right? You saw how that went.
Yeah, actually, Sea of Thieves is a good instance of a game that wants you to meet up with people and spontaneously be cooperative.
Yeah,
but in practice,
every time you were just sunk on sight by their galleon.
Yes, admittedly so.
So, I don't know. I do like the conceit that you're all people who've been in this vault together.
Yep.
And then the second they open the doors, some of you become crazy murder people who go and live in a swamp.
Just nuke each other immediately.
Even though you spent 25 years together.
They meant nothing. I hated every second.
Oh god, the door's open.
Kill them quick.
Time to murder.
I do think it's an interesting angle as well, because most of the time when you see an online game, the people who make it talk about how many people they've packed in. Like look at Battlefield or something, which is like 64 people all in a battle. So I think it's kind of interesting to see a game that is online, but is saying there aren't very many other players.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's part of the feel of Fallout as well. Like if it was absolutely overrun with other
teeming,
people, it wouldn't feel like a Fallout game. So it helps to add to that sense of loneliness that sort of pervades the series. But I do like the idea of having other people in a Fallout game. I think that my main problem is griefing. Like, if it's going to be just constant griefing from other people, then it's not going to be fun. But if they find a way around that, then I'm on board.
You're open to the idea. Yeah. So those are some of the reasons why maybe we don't need a single-player Fallout. Who knows? Hey, maybe we never needed one.
Whoa, Luke.
Okay, all right. I've gone
it's red.
Oh no.
Red.
The band's gone red, which means my time is up.
Which means your opinions are bad.
My opinions have turned sour. But let us know what you think. Are you optimistic about Fallout 76? Are you excited to give it a try? Or are you not feeling positive? Would you rather that Bethesda stuck to the Fallout template that we know and dearly, dearly love? So let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, then why not subscribe? But for now, thank you very much, Andy, for bearing with me.
Not a problem.
Have I managed to convince you even at all a little bit?
You and Todd Howard, working in tandem.
Bethesda's lovely Todd Howard.
Yeah, there you go.
Working in tandem, we managed to slightly move the needle on Andy's stubbornometer.
Skepticismometer.
Skepticismometer.
Yeah,
Thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.
Bye. I belong West Virginia.
Are we going to get copyright?
Oh yeah, okay.